Got this older mountain bike. It's a Novara Ponderosa, and it uses the old type threaded headset. I guess it's not an old type. They still use it in department store bikes, but this wasn't a cheap bike at the time. It's just an older bike, so it has the threaded headset and also has the quill type stem. And the headset came out of adjustment, but instead of just doing a video about adjusting the headset, I'm going to take it apart and grease the bearings and then readjust everything. So let's get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove the front cable and also the sensor wire for the speedometer. Just kind of get that out of the way. Next, I'm going to remove the handlebars. I'm going to loosen up this binder bolt right here. And if after loosening this up you can't, it doesn't loosen up the handlebars, just take like a rubber mallet or something like this and tap on the binder bolt, and it will push that quill down and release the handlebars. And now I am going to shut the camera off and find a place to put these handlebars. Next, I'm going to loosen up this lock nut here from the threaded race that's underneath it, and I'm going to do that by putting the front wheel in between my legs. I've got a special tool from Park Tools. It's an HCW 15. On one end it's got this 36 millimeter and it's real thin. You can see that the that bolt part of this threaded race is real thin, and it just fits it perfectly, and so I can turn it or hold it. And while I do that, I will remove or loosen the lock nut. And next, remove the front wheel. Now I'm ready to remove the lock nut and the threaded race, and I've got a magnet, if they're loose bearings, that I can get them out with. And while I'm doing this, I'm going to hold the bottom of the fork so that it doesn't drop out and I don't lose the lower bearings. There's a washer in between the threaded race and lock nut. And it is a caged bearing, so that's good. So next step is I'm just going to drop the forks and remove the other cage bearing from the bottom. And here's the bearings on the bottom. There's this piece, and then they just come out like that. So this is everything that I took off of the bike, minus the front forks and minus one of these things for the top bearing. I don't know what this is called. It's just like a plastic washer that sits between the bearing cage and the bicycle. But you know, now's the time to check the bearings and the races for cracks or galling. I'm going to wipe down all the races, and get them clean. And then for the bearings, I'm just going to set them in here and spray them down with some car cleaner. And let them set for a second and then wipe them down, and I'll be back. So this is everything all cleaned up, grease off of the bearings and the bearing races. These plastic rubber things, if you look real closely, there's lettering on one side of these, and the lettering always faces away from the bearing. And the way that this goes back together, for the bottom bearing, it fits on like this, and then the bearing will go on like this, and then for your top bearing, this fits on like this, and then your bearing go on like this. And I think they made these I think these rubber pieces are meant to help keep dirt and dust off of the bearing. So let me get these, let me get all the races and the two bearings greased up, and we'll reassemble everything. So I've got grease on all the bearing races and bearings, and also I put some grease on the threads, and I'm going to reinsert this into the head tube. And then I can put the bearing back on the top. And install the threaded bearing race. I can barely turn this because it's so greasy. Alright, to adjust this threaded bearing race, I want to tighten it down by hand, but not real tight, just to where it just starts to cinch, and then back it off a quarter of a turn. And the reason you want to back it off a quarter of a turn is because when you tighten down the lock nut, it's going to take up some of that slack that's in the headset. So after you've done that, put your washer back on and put your lock nut back on. And if after I put this all together and I take it for a test drive and I notice there's some play in the headset, I can always loosen up this lock nut and tighten the threaded bearing race 1/8 to 1/16 of a turn, and then try again. Now before I tighten up that lock nut, I'm going to put the tire back on. No, that's not right. Now put the front wheel in between your legs. Take your HCW 15 tool, hold the threaded bearing race, and tighten down the lock nut. And then check the action, make sure it's still smooth, check for any play. Don't feel any play, so we're good to go from here. Now take your handlebars. I'm going to apply some Permatex Anti-Seize to the handlebar stem. And reinstall that. and then tighten the bolt. Now reinstall the brake cable. So with everything back together, the last step is to go out and test ride it, make sure that there's no play in the headset and the steering is smooth, and make any adjustments if you need to.